Well, we're on a train for an exciting trip up to Mount Titlis. And now we're going up by train to Engelberg. And this is a lovely train journey. It takes just about 1 hour. And it passes through some of the prettiest scenery in the Alps, as you can tell. This is how they generate electricity. It comes down the hill in pipes. And there are dynamo turbines inside the pipes. And Switzerland is a major producer and exporter of electricity. Now we're on the rack portion of the railroad. It gets quite steep here, so you can see how steep it is. And so steel wheel on rail will not get you up a steep incline like that. The friction just doesn't make it. So it goes on the rack, which is like a gear tooth and kind of a zipper down the middle of the train tracks, and that pulls you up the steep portion. And then it levels off again and becomes a regular friction train, steel wheels on rail tracks, as we round the bend, coming into the small town of Engelberg. And there where the train terminates, we get off the train, have a brief walk for about a quarter mile, passing some lovely wildflowers. We're here in the month of May, and it's just a perfect time to be in Switzerland. There's a lot of wildflowers, and the air is cool and fresh. Buy our tickets to get up the cable car lift that will bring us to the top of Mount Titlis. And you can see there's lots of snow. It's a glacier up on top, so they do have snow all year round, right through the summertime. But in the month of May, there's even more snow than you'd find in June or July. So it makes a quite spectacular view. These peaks all around us, especially on a clear day like this. We really got lucky today. There's no clouds whatsoever, and you can see right into the heart of the Bernese Oberland. In the distance, you could make out the Jungfrau, you could make out the Eiger, and you can do a little bit of sledding on your butt while you're here. They do have some inner tubes available, also if you'd like to slide down the hill on some flying saucer type inner tubes. We're just having a look and enjoying the view, and then back down we go. You don't need to spend a long time up on Mount Titlis. Maybe an hour, hour and a half is plenty. And then we want to get back into town and do some shopping and looking around. And along the way, on the way down the hill, we run into this herd of cows. They're moving from one meadow to the next. Cowbells clanging in the distance. Back on the same train that took us up here to Engelberg for that 1 hour train trip back into Lucerne. And it's also pretty on the way back. Quickly enough, we're back in town. Got the afternoon free for some shopping, have lunch, just take a walk in the little cobbled lanes, or perhaps a boat ride. They have some large boats here, as you can see. They have first class and second class service on board with a snack shop and a cafe, a restaurant. Nice choices for a meal or just a light bite. Or just simply sit outside and enjoy the view. There are over a dozen different ships that ply the waters of Lake Lucerne. They don't call it Lake Lucerne, they call it the Vierwaldstättersee, which means the lake of the four forested cantons. That's Uri, Schwyz, Unterwalden, and Lucerne. And they were the first four cantons that began to form the nation of Switzerland back in the 14th century. We've taken the boat over to Mount Pilatus, yet another interesting mountain to go up, similar to Mount Titlis, but in this case it's a rack railway, a funicular that goes up at a grade of over 40%, which is the steepest funicular in Switzerland. It takes about 45 minutes to go up the mountain on this funicular and get some beautiful views along the way. Great place to snap some more pictures, shoot some more video, and soon we're up in the snowfields, arriving at the top of Mount Titlis on this funky little funicular. You could hike up, but that's pretty strenuous. Much easier to just pay the money, reasonable charge, and go on up via funicular. And at the top, surprise, surprise, there's actually a hotel up here. That round building is a hotel where you could spend the night. And they have a restaurant, there's several cafes, beautiful platforms, staircases, and vistas and viewpoints in all directions. The Swiss have truly got some great scenery here, and they have civilized their mountaintops. All of these amenities. You can look down right into the town of Lucerne from Pilatus on a clear day like this. Just as you can see the mountain from the town, you have a nice view from the top looking back down. Have a bite in the restaurant, why don't you? There's a buffet, cafeteria, or just have some coffee and a snack. And then on the way down, a different route. Not taking a funicular down this time, but on the cable car. And that brings you to the other side of the mountain, where it's a brief walk to the city bus, and that'll take you right back into town.